Hello guys, and welcome back to Interphony TV. It's a pleasure to have you guys again, and I hope you guys had a great week. And today's Friday, the Premier League is finally kicking off again. It was a really disappointing weekend for Chelsea the other time around when we played Arsenal. I hope you guys are doing well and you're happy to see me on your screens again. So today I'm going to give you the match preview between Chelsea and then Brentford at Stamford Bridge tomorrow. And then guess what? We're actually kicking off this game, the first game on Saturday. We're playing at the early kickoff. And then, you know what early kickoff does, right? Like, it's full of surprises. So I hope tomorrow we're able to eliminate those surprises and then come home with all the 3 points. But before I start with the video, I would really like to say thank you to everyone that's been supporting the channel. Like I've been getting a lot of comments, feedback from you guys, and then the subscribers are going up too, and I'm really happy you guys are on board with me on this journey, and I want to say a big thank you. And if you're new to the channel, please make sure you try to subscribe and then turn the post notification on. So now we move on to the match preview today, but I'll start with the injury news. So today during the press conference, Pochettino told us players that are going to be available for the game tomorrow, and then players that are still out injured. So and we actually have good news when it comes to injury list. You know, I know some of you know what I'm talking about. So there you go, Christopher Nkunku, man. Pochettino just said today he is really close to training with the squad and then getting back to playing again. We all thought he was going to come back somewhere in the new year, like in January or maybe late December, but it's almost the end of November, the end of October, and then he's already on the grass training, and then we should be seeing him pretty quickly. So I would like to read this tweet. So Pochettino on Nkunku, he said he's working really well now and he's really close. As soon as possible we can have him involved. He's really important player for us and for our project. So I think that's good news. That's good news. I think when we have Nkunku back, he's gonna solve some of our goal scoring problems, and then we could see how he was really linking up well with Jackson and then the other guys on top during preseason. And I can't wait to have Christopher Nkunku back. And then we move on to we're still on Nkunku. I mean, Pochettino was again saying that maybe he'll be back after the international break, but says maybe, but he's not sure. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. I mean, I won't be bothered if we are back from international break and he's still not back. All I know is that we have good news, and then he will be available sooner rather than later than we all thought. So I think that's good news. But then we move to Rhys James. So the coach confirmed today that Rhys James is not fit enough to start tomorrow's game, and then he'll come on from the bench. I think it's cool, and it's evident of what Malo Gusto is doing. That was the main reason why we went out to sign Malo Gusto last season, because Rhys James gets injured and then there's no one to play from that side. And since Gusto has come in, he's been fantastic. He had a very good game against Arsenal the other weekend, and I don't see the reason why he should be given that confidence to continue starting whilst James is still building his fitness up. So I think that's not good news for Rhys James, but I think it's okay for the team if we have a fit enough James that can come on in the second half and then replace Malo Gusto. I think it will be a big plus for us. So and then we go back to Amanda Broya too. He's still not fit enough to start, and I think maybe we shouldn't be worried looking at his injury record. That injury he picked up was a very serious injury, and for him to be back and then actually gotten some minutes under his belt, I think he's really done well, and we should be very cautious of how we use him. So I'm not really in a rush for him to come back. Cole Palmer played as a false nine against Arsenal. He was very fluid and perfect. So I think he'll be great if he starts again tomorrow from the same position, and then Amanda Broya just take his time to recover. Even if he's not fit to play against Blackburn in the cup game, he definitely should be ready when we're back from the international break. So that was just the injury news out of the way, and now we move forward to the main deal tomorrow. Brentford coming at the bridge. And it's so funny. I was thinking about this today. Last weekend, we had a chance to redeem ourselves, as in like beating Arsenal at Stamford Bridge for the first time in like 5 years, and then we messed it up. We couldn't win, so that means we would have to wait till next year before we can break that curse. And then, funny enough, Brentford last two journey to the bridge has also ended up in a win for them. We haven't really beaten them in the last two meetings at the bridge. The last one, you'll remember, we lost 4-1 to them, and Rudiger scoring a screamer, but that goal was quickly forgotten in the minds of Chelsea fans because of how heavily we lost against them. So we need to go back to 2017. That was the last time we beat them at the bridge. So this shows how we haven't been able to like beat Brentford when it comes to them traveling to the bridge. And I hope tomorrow we take this opportunity to correct those wrongs and then be able to pick up all those 3 points. But I'm really optimistic about tomorrow's game, looking at the way we played against Arsenal. Like in my reaction video, you see how I was talking about how we were our own enemies. We should have won that game because I felt like we're the better team, had most of the chances, controlled the game for almost up to like the 80th minute, and then we just one silly mistake and then we give the game away. So moving on to this game against Brentford, I'm really positive we are going to come out with all the 3 points. And I'm looking at how we could line up against Brentford or how we could play against them. I feel like Brentford are not a team that really like to sit back and then pack the bus, but they are very physical and they like to use the route one football. They like to go very long, especially when they have Ivan Toney up front. But I think it's a blessing for us that he's still not back playing. But then that still doesn't nullify their threat. Like they are always trying to go long and then catch you on a surprise. So I think it'll be a very open game tomorrow. Brentford will really come to play. When they went to Old Trafford, they were not shy at all to show their football. They took the lead and then they played really well. So I think it's not going to be an easy game tomorrow. But looking at the confidence that we are growing in, I think we should have enough to be able to finish them off. But we should also be very cautious of their threat. Like you look at Mbeumo has been doing really well for Brentford this season. He's their set piece taker. He's always involved in their goals. Like he scores and he assists all the time. Wisa is also doing very well. And then they have so many players that we should look out for. Like they can cause a danger at any point in time in the game. And one thing about them too is like they are playing away from home and they won't be under any pressure at all or whatsoever to lose the game or to mess up. They are just coming to play. They are coming to be themselves. And I feel like we would be under pressure because we haven't really been dominant when it comes to playing at home. Sometimes we play well and then we end up losing the game. Sometimes we just don't put up the best performances, but then when we go away, we're able to play and then express ourselves. But then I feel like Brentford is, like I said, they're going to come and then play, and that should give us the opportunity to be able to pick up all the 3 points. And I feel like one thing that we really need to do, like I keep stressing in all my videos, is like controlling the game and like starting the game with high intensity is very key, and like it makes us go into the game. Just like Arsenal, in the first minute, even in the second minute, we had our first chance, and then that was how we started the game. Like we were on the front foot, like bringing the game to Arsenal. And then before they could realize, like, okay, Chelsea are really serious, they are in for business, we already won the penalty and then we had the first goal, and that actually helped us a lot to control the game, because now it was like we are very good with our counter attacks, and if we're a goal up, we are just comfortable to keep the ball and then play our game. And now we are not inviting the opponent to come in and have the ball, and that's when we begin to pick them up and then create our chances, because we all can still see that when teams pack the bus and they try to sit very deep, it's very difficult for us to break them down. So we love to play on the counter attack, and then we love the teams to come and then attack us. So I feel like going to tomorrow's game, if we want to like have a good results in this game, if we don't want to panic, if we don't have to leave it late, then we need to like start the game with the same tempo and the same intensity we started the Arsenal game. We should be on the front foot, make Brentford chase. We should make them feel the presence of Stamford Bridge, and then the fans were very, 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 very good. They were on top of their voices in the game against Arsenal, and I don't see why they wouldn't be doing that against Brentford. It's an early kickoff, and then I'm expecting them to come in their numbers. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm expecting in tomorrow's game. So now I would like to move on to my predicted lineup against Brentford. I mean, it would have been difficult to have an easy lineup predicted by myself, but looking at the injury news that came out today, it looks like it's going to be the same lineup that we put on against Arsenal. I would have loved to start James, but then Gusto had a fantastic game, and like I said, it wouldn't be fair to him to just drop him out from the team after putting that excellent performance, even though he was caught napping with Arsenal's second goal. But then I feel like Pochettino likes to go with he likes to go with experience, like I say all the time, and he doesn't also like to change a lot. So like when something is working for him, he likes to stick with it and then see it to the very end. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with the same lineup tomorrow, even though Disasi is fit to play. But I am also thinking about the game against Blackburn, the game against Arsenal. Thiago Silva and then Cole played really well, even though Cole was shaky in the very beginning, but then when he grew into the game, like it was solid at the back. So I kind of feel like Pochettino will go with the same back line and then try to reintegrate Disasi back into the game slowly, starting with the game against Blackburn. So that's how I feel what's going to happen tomorrow against Brentford. So starting with the goalkeeper, I think Petrovic is going to get his chance. Like there's no two ways about that, and that will come in the cup match. And I think Sanchez should still maintain the post for us in the game against Brentford. So I put Sanchez in the goal, and I'm trusting him to correct all his wrongs. Like he nearly let us down against Arsenal. He let us down though. He didn't give us the 3 points. He denied us the 3 points, and I feel like he's going to do what Onana did over in the Champions League by actually starting to redeem himself. So I feel like Sanchez will try to correct his wrongs and then do good by our side. So I put Sanchez in goal, and our right hand side, just like the coach said, Rhys James is only fit to come in the second half. So I still put Gusto at the right back, and then with the two centre backs, I still go with Lemarco and then Thiago Silva, and then at left back, it just has to be Cucurella. I feel like the position is his to lose now. Like he hasn't looked back since he's gotten into the team, and it's so interesting. Like at the start of the season, he wasn't even coming out from the bench to play, but then all of a sudden now the position is his to lose, and I think he's really doing well, and that's something we need to really praise. And then moving to the midfield, I felt like in the game against Arsenal we played 4-3-3, and we had three midfielders of Enzo, Caicedo, and then Gallagher. But I would like to go back to our 4-2-3-1 with the game against Brentford, even though I feel like the personnel will still be the same, but I'm just going to go for a different formation. So with that, I'm going to go for the two pivot of Enzo Fernandez and then Moises Caicedo. I feel like they are a solid midfield partnership right now, and then there's no need for us to change them. And thinking like again, the game against Arsenal, the coach after the game confirmed they were both not really fit because they traveled to South America for the international break. But then I'm sure they've had enough time to rest, and then they are really recharged to go against Brentford. So I'll go with Enzo Fernandez and then Moises Caicedo as a two pivot. And then move on to the left hand side, it just has to be Modric. Like he's the guy on form right now. Like he's doing everything right. Took his goal against Arsenal very well. So many pundits saying he didn't mean that. I mean, you create your own luck. If you don't shoot, you don't score. Whether he tried to cross that or he tried to take it over the goalkeeper, he ended up at the back of the net. And for we Chelsea fans, we're happy for it. Like we can't complain. It was a good goal, and he came out to confirm himself. Like the goalkeeper's trainer told him to always look out for Raya. Like Raya likes to step out of his line and always try to predict where the ball is going to end. And I felt like Modric had his head up twice before kicking that ball, so I don't think it was a fluke. I think he meant that, and then it was a beautiful goal. So I think he still maintains his position on the left hand side, and then I can do without Gallagher. He was again fantastic against Arsenal. I had some people blaming him for the second goal, saying Rice was behind him, had to run in front of him to take that ball, And I wouldn't say I wouldn't like to blame Gallagher for that goal, but I felt like if Sanchez had done the basis, we wouldn't have been in that situation. We wouldn't have found ourselves in that situation. So I think he had a good game, and then I will still maintain him at the 10 because I'm going with a 4-2-3-1. And then on the right hand side, I think Raheem Sterling had a quiet game against Arsenal offensively, but defensively, like he was on top of his game. He was tracking back very well, defending, helping us with the counter pressing, winning so many balls. And I think he did well defensively, and I don't see why he shouldn't also start. Like I said, Pochettino likes to really go with something when it really works for him. So I see him carrying the momentum from the Arsenal game to this Brentford game by selecting Raheem Sterling on the right hand side again. And then on top, I think Jackson, after having that wrist surgery, I feel like he's kind of be a little bit cold. Like he hasn't been himself. You could see the game against Arsenal. He had about 2 chances like he should have put away, but he didn't. I feel like I don't know whether he's starting to drop a little bit, but I am not overly concerned, and I know he's gonna come good. But to continue with what really worked for us against Arsenal, I feel like I will still see him come off the bench in the game against Brentford. So I'm still going with Cole Palmer on top. And Cole Palmer was on top against Arsenal, but he wasn't always there. Like he was so fluid. Like he was interchanging with Modric. Like he wasn't only the person staying up front. You see the penalty that Modric won. Like he was the player that actually made the run into the box, like a striker, had his head onto that ball and then onto the hands of Saliba and then won the penalty. So I think we will go with Cole Palmer on top again. So yeah, that's my predicted 11 for the game against Brentford. And then I think if we actually line up this way, I don't see why we shouldn't pick all 3 points. And I know we would have learned our mistakes right now, and if we are go up or even 2 goals up, I can rest assured that we are going to be able to manage the game very well to the end of the 90 minutes, and to just think that we are really recovering players right now, and these games could be available to come even earlier on. Even when he came on against Arsenal, he didn't come as a right back, he was playing more offensive. So I feel like when the need arises, we should have enough on the bench to be able to maintain the intensity of the game. If we are leading, I hope so. I hope we'll be leading to the very end. But then if we have to chase the game too, I feel like we'll have enough on the bench to be able to chase the game. Yeah, so that's my predicted lineup. And then now I'll move to my score prediction. I mean, we've been scoring now. Scored 2 against Arsenal, who hadn't conceded in an away game the whole of this season. For us to score 2 against them, I'm really confident. Like Brentford they are going to experience what we are going to bring on them tomorrow. Like we're going to go all over them. We had so many touches in Arsenal box the other time around, and I don't see why we shouldn't be able to do the same thing against Brentford. So I would love us to keep another clean sheet, and I'm really going to be biased here. I think Brentford might try to. They have enough to be able to score a goal, but then I'm just going to go with my instinct, and then with my bias, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win for Chelsea, and I think Modric is going to score again, and I sense a goal is going to come from our midfield. It could be Caicedo or it could be Enzo Fernandez, but I feel like a goal is going to come from one of those midfielders tomorrow. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be a 3-0 win for Chelsea tomorrow, and I hope we'll put on a very, very good and entertaining game. Right, so that was my match preview of Chelsea versus Brentford tomorrow at Stamford Bridge, and I hope we'll be able to come out with all 3 points tomorrow. It was so nice talking to you guys again, and I hope you guys will keep subscribing and then liking the video, try to share, and then also in the feed, in the comment section, let me know what you guys think about all that I spoke about in this preview. What do you think? What would be your preferred lineup against Brentford tomorrow? Let me know in the comment section. Let's get interactive. What do you think about Modric's form? I mean, what do you think about Cole Palmer and all of that? So just let me know in the comment section, and then let's keep it moving. So see you after the game tomorrow. Come on, you Chelsea.
Yeah. Let's see.